Welcome, everyone. I'm Professor David Reeser.
Hi, I'm Professor Aaron Moss.
I'm Music Director Steven Strauss.
And I'm Dr. Venustiano Borromeo, and we are the faculty and staff of the theater program at Stockton University.
And this is the Stockton Theater Company Cabaret. We receive wonderful support for exciting projects like this one from our university leadership, including our university president, Dr. Harvey Kesselman, who we are honored to have with us here tonight.
Hello, and welcome to the Stockton Theater Company Cabaret. I'm Stockton University President Harvey Kesselman. I'm also a member of the first graduating class of Stockton University, so my connection to and love for this university goes back a long way. And I'm pleased to see my passion for the university continue here with the great students and faculty of our theater program. Stockton's theater program embodies our university mission and the principles on which Stockton was founded in innovation, community connections, and interdisciplinary studies. The theater faculty are leading the way in bringing Stockton into the modern era, and the students you'll see presenting online tonight created these videos with the help of the faculty and special guests from Broadway and Hollywood who mentored them in the process of writing, producing, filming, and performing these pieces. Unique pieces from each student that speak to the concerns and commitments they are currently facing in our world. So, without further ado, please enjoy the passionate work of our incredible theater students and their devoted theater faculty, who I'll hand it back to now. Enjoy this show, everybody.
Thank you so much, President Kesselman. It's an honor to have you with us, and we appreciate your thoughtful leadership during these difficult times. Considering the onslaught of tumultuous events in the spring and summer in the United States and abroad, we devised the idea for this company cabaret as a means to explore the topics that concern our students and the issues that matter to our community. So we decided to create an atypical process for our production. For instance, rather than hold traditional auditions with just monologues or songs, we held a workshop where any student could participate in a series of prompted writing exercises. We asked students to do research about their specific areas of interest, to write about the work that excites them as an artist, and to brainstorm creative ways to explore the topics that concern them in their self-identified communities, cultures, and more.
We then asked them to research 3 different possible options that they would like to do for this cabaret. We requested that students not just find songs from musicals or learn monologues from stage and screen, but we encourage them to come up with business ideas that benefit their communities, research organizations that address the issues that plague our country, or write a spoken word piece about their own social concerns. And to no surprise, our students came up with the most captivating ideas and found visionary ways to express them through the performing arts.
Then, over the course of weeks of rehearsals via Zoom, we brought in a diverse group of special guest mentors from Broadway and Hollywood, who you'll hear from, by the way, over the course of this weekend. Multi-talented artists who have played leading roles in your favorite shows, but have also started their own successful businesses, gone to grad school, taught at universities, and generated their own work about issues that matter in our society. So the faculty and these guest artists spent countless hours working one-on-one with our students via Zoom to help craft the work you'll be seeing today and tonight, and to help determine how we might find effective ways to engage you and others in the causes we all care about.
Those causes and themes of this company cabaret include global citizenship, the pandemic, mental health, and justice for Black, Indigenous, and persons of color. This year, students and faculty explored concepts of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. With diversity, we asked, who's in the room? With equity, we asked, who benefited from being in the room? With inclusion, we asked, how can we be better at who we invite into the room? And finally, with belonging, we asked, how can we be better at ensuring those in the room know that they belong? This detailed self-assessment has led us to a commitment as a program to amplify the voices of Black, Indigenous, and persons of color in our coursework and our productions. The original pieces you'll see tonight have been developed in conjunction with a beautifully diverse company of esteemed guest artists who mentored our students to create the work you'll see tonight.
We also gave our students an opportunity to dive into the causes they care about through the lens of theater production. I worked with award-winning theatrical designer Jay Herzog to help our production students find ways to express themselves through the art and craft of scenic design, lighting, conceptual vision, and much more. So some of the pieces you'll be seeing in tonight's performance are from those students who focused their creative vision towards the technical side of theater.
And what a phenomenal group of Broadway guest artists we've had the pleasure of working with. They were kind enough to donate their time to mentor our theater students and to do a university-wide interview for all of Stockton about their own work as artists, entrepreneurs, and community leaders. You'll hear from each of our guests over the course of this weekend, and we're thankful to them all.
Jimmy Jeter, who most recently starred on Broadway as the $10 founding father without a father of Hamilton. Basti Monpoint, who's been in 8 original Broadway casts and moreover founded 2 successful startup companies. Jenny Barber, Broadway star of Wicked as Galinda, Joan in The Nance with Nathan Lane, and Lydia in Arthur Miller's All My Sons with Annette Bening. Stanley Bohoric, original cast member of more than 20 world premiere plays and musicals, not to mention Broadway's Spelling Bee, Big River, and the upcoming Broadway production of Sondheim's Company with Patti LuPone. Jay Herzog, the award-winning lighting designer and Townsend University design faculty member. And last, but certainly not least, our guest artist in residence, star of Broadway's Choir Boy and The Inheritance, Jonathan Burke, who you'll hear from later on in our show.
But first, to kick off our evening, please welcome Jimmy Jeter.
Hello, I'm Jimmy J.J. Jeter. Thank you for watching the Stockton Theater Company Cabaret. I had the pleasure of working with half a dozen Stockton students that you'll be seeing over the course of the weekend. Now, the students I work with spoke to me about a wide range of concerns and causes, including amplifying Black voices, artists, stories, and moreover, supporting Black lives in our country and in our community. They spoke about gender inequality, political corruption, income disparity, mental health, physical well-being, isolation in a pandemic, and societal changes on social media. The ways they address their concerns vary greatly, but all with the same purpose: to improve our communities at Stockton, in the performing arts, in our families, and in our country. I was really encouraged by so many students speaking with such honesty and bravery about the challenges we face as a society and as individuals, and I'm proud to have worked with each of them to find ways to take action to express their concerns through this artistic medium. So, with that in mind, my group of students have requested that in lieu of ticket sales for this show, that you please take action or make a donation through the website Black Visions Collective, a Minnesota nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting the agency and protection of Black people, and to learn more about what you can do to become a better ally. In pursuit of equality and equity for marginalized groups, please visit guidetoallyship.com. They also ask that you please visit sierrahouse.org, a Black-owned and Black-run non-for-profit organization here in New Jersey, dedicated to helping at-risk women gain tools they need to become self-sufficient. You can access all those direct links in the chat at any point through our show, or find them at any time on social media at Stockton Theater. Thanks for doing what you can to help us help each other. And now, please enjoy the Stockton Theater Company Cabaret.
Why the struggle, why the strain? Why make trouble, why make scenes? Why go against the grain? Why swim upstream? It ain't no use. You're bound to lose. What's done is done. That's the way the river runs. So why get wet? Why break a sweat? Why waste your precious breath? Why beat your handsome brow? Nothing changes changes. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. Anyhow. Remember when we thought this would last a few weeks? Now that sounds naive. The travesties and pain are on a streak. We don't even have time to grieve. I'm wishing on a star and I'm hoping for a change. Something we can see. 'Cause we're fighting for our rights and good for humanity, but we are not truly free. Why don't we all agree? I should have known how things were gonna play out. This isn't something you can ignore. So let's make it a record of voter turnout and fix some things right at the core. I'm wishing on a star and I'm hoping for a change. Something we can see. 'Cause we're marching out the doors for true equality, but we are still not all free. This is our reality. Wishing on a star and I'm hoping for a change, something we can see. Now we can do something to fix all this insanity, so fill out your absentee. I know that it's possible, we will be unstoppable. That is a guarantee. But we are not truly free. No, we are still not all free. But we've still got time to be.
Could you, do the dishes right now? Kind of in the middle of something. I can't really pause it. It's kind of sort of there. I'm done. I am sick of living here with you. If you want the dishes done that bad, then why don't you just try doing them yourself for once? God knows I'm the only one who actually ever does shit around here. Jesus Christ. Now, why am I here? Staring at the same four walls for what feels like an eternity? I feel my muscles are beginning to weaken from the lack of physical activity. I miss feeling the sun on my cheek, the smell of fresh air, the feeling of a warm summer breeze. Summer, I never knew that I would miss it so much. I haven't talked to anyone other than you in over 5 weeks. It's not like you ever make an attempt at conversation. I dread opening my mouth to speak. Just hearing how weak it's gotten over the past several months makes me wonder if it'll ever return to its former strength. My attention gets drawn to each and every noise in my vicinity. Sounds of shutting doors and cabinets reverberate through the hall like thunder. Faucets are like torrential floods. You play the same damn song every single day at full volume. It's like you're trying to drive me insane. I swear to God, if I ever have to listen to that Euro trash horseshit again, I will have a fucking conniption. You constantly pace back and forth up and down the hall. All I ever hear is the sound of your bare feet slapping against the tile. Would it kill you to put on some damn socks? Tension hangs heavy in this musty air. It's almost thick enough to choke someone. In other words, you smell like shit. You only shower like once a goddamn week, and even then you've already stained the couch with your stench. You only ever wear the same 3 sweat-drenched undershirts, and while I understand you have nowhere else to be, try having a bit of decency and use a fucking laundry machine every once in a while. I want you gone. I don't care how, I don't care when. I just want you to get all of your shit and just fuck off. Conor. Conor.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Conor. You hear me?
Why don't you open the windows and let some fresh air in? How are you gonna feel better when you shut your blinds and windows? It's like Arkham Asylum. Something's gonna jump out at us. All right, now, no advice today? You're not gonna point out my zits? Ask if I did my hair or not? Nothing? That's rude. Well, I'll have you know you missed a chance to shame me because I didn't do my hair today. I came here for you, but you're not... Well, you don't have to ask. College is same as always. Yesterday, I sat in a lecture where the dude next to me would not stop farting. I got up and moved to the other side of the room. Well, I couldn't cuss him out. Why would I? I couldn't smell it. Nobody but me seemed to notice. You have to save your cuss outs or you'll end up doing it to everybody. And then you're the crazy one. I mean a bitch. Not you, I'm a bitch. Speaking of cuss outs, I broke up with my boyfriend yesterday. I said I broke up with him yesterday. Fine. It was very boring. No one cried. Just like when Sharon and Nick broke up last week on Y&R. What, you don't watch soaps anymore? Is that TV they gave you work? You're missing all those crime and law shows you love. I have to say, I really see how they influenced your grandparenting style. What? I'm joking. I didn't mean it. You would have laughed at that a few years ago when you were home. You don't have to be here. You shouldn't. Grandma, don't you want to go to the Amish market and get fudge? We should go to Target and buy a bunch of crap we don't need. We could get croissants at the supermarket and go for a walk at the park. Maybe go out to eat. Don't you miss Friendly's? How can you go 3 years without your favorite restaurant? Huh. You get a real hot dog, no mystery meat. Ooh, remember when you hit on the waiter at Applebee's and he got scared and came back with another girl to protect him? Horrible. Now if I were him and some old person hit on me, now that is a good moment for a cuss out. Don't you want to go there again? Anywhere? With me or the girls or mom? You have all these people who love you outside of this damn room, but you'd rather be here. The doctors say you're sane and healthy and strong. We know you are. 3 years you've been laying in this bed waiting to be cured of an illness you don't have. 3 years. Sounds short, but it's not. And to think you could waste next year, and the next, and the next, and then... It's a lot of time to waste. It's a lot of time to waste away in bed. I think if we visited the garden out there, you'll cheer up. Oh, flowers are blooming. But there's fresh air. Fresh air. Maybe that'll do it. Maybe.
It's September 30th, 10:35 a.m. You were handcrafted from a failed attempt at love. Raspberry tainted lips, dark chocolate eyes, ghost-colored skin, and spaghetti hair. You say you're unlovable, but it's just you looking in a funhouse mirror. Picnics with green vegetables, freshly cut grass, and a sky with a hue of blue that heaven has only seen. Taking in deep breaths to release your anxieties, but instead of fresh air, you inhaled poison. Back when you were younger, you would say that it was socially accepted suicide, yet here you are. It's September 30th, 10:35 a.m., and you're stuck. Replaying counterfeit memories that only your mental illness understands, forever stuck on the carousel of false hopes and dreams, going around in circle after circle after circle. Maybe on the 300th spin you'll feel good enough, included, or loved. Beanies, band-aids, and a broken heart goes along perfectly with a mental breakdown and a failed attempt to try. Stuck between giving no fucks and a lot of fucks. You're just stuck standing in front of a mirror and not liking the reflection you see. She's standing there and she's staring at you. She looks like you. She has ghost-colored skin, dark, black, lifeless eyes, and spaghetti hair. Come with me, she whispers as the darkness starts to creep in. You're just stuck, hearing the voices echo inside of your head and the flashbacks start to play behind your eyes. You slide down the wall, clenching your knees and trying to catch your breath. Tears start streaming down your face and they cut your cheeks like a knife. It stings, it hurts, and I'm in pain. Shh. It's okay. She's just your imagination. It's September 30th, 10:35 a.m. You manage to pick yourself back up and stand back in front of the mirror. You still have raspberry tainted lips, dark chocolate eyes, ghost-colored skin, and spaghetti hair. Isn't today your 21st birthday? I think it's time to show the world who you really are.
Happy 2020. The new year is upon us. As the champagne is pouring, the distant pops of fireworks linger in the air. I quietly whisper myself among the jubilee. This year is my year. And I sleep peacefully, itching for the rest of the year. Breaking news. Bushfires are eating Australia alive. Millions are in danger and people are being eaten alive by the flames of hell. Millions of animals are killed and their habitats destroyed. I have to tell myself, this is not normal. Breaking news! Again, General Qasem Soleimani has been killed in an airstrike I heard. Known as an enemy of he's here, but a hero in Iran. The threat of World War III looms over all of our heads. Get the draft prepared. This is not normal. Do you remember that virus in Wuhan? COVID-19, I believe? Surprise, it's here and it's not going away. Let us pray that it keeps away, even if the WHO says it won't. This is not normal. The president insists that the virus is nothing. I can only hope it won't affect my life. More people are getting sick, but I'm sure it will be fine. But again, I need to remind myself, this is not normal. Corona is spreading faster than I thought. It leaves me to wonder when school will be canceled. I mean, it has to be, for at least a week. I will see you all soon, but just remember, this is not normal. 1 month into quarantine, surprise! The economy is taking a turn for the worst. Millions are unemployed and recession is near. People are scared and worried, but nothing to fear. The American spirit is stronger than this. We will reopen soon, says the president. I have to mutter to myself every day before I go to sleep. This is not normal. 2 months into quarantine, Mother Nature throws another hardball, introducing the U.S. to another close call. Murder hornets, and they are ready to kill. Hopefully this will be the most eventful thing of the year. As my mental health wanes, my motto is now, this is not normal. The next thing we hear comes from Minneapolis. Police brutality strikes again. This time, there will be change. George Floyd was not the first, but he is the name that rang on many ears as we marched through the streets. No justice, no peace. They should not be normal. Hurricane season is upon us again. Guess what? There were a lot. From Arthur to Faye, from Marco to Vicky, they were all used and it really is a pity. I have to say through clenched teeth, this is not normal. To top off this summer of pain, COVID made more gains. A country unprepared to open, but economy matters. So do people. And over 200,000 of them are dead. I have to force myself to say through tears, this is not normal. There is so much more that has occurred, from Yemen to Beirut, to an election full of fear and panic, to the uproar of the death of a beloved woman, RBG, to the fact there was an impeachment and we all forgot, to the fact the police seemed to win again against the innocent, Breonna Taylor, Elijah Cummings, Ahmaud Arbery. This can't be normal. This year has been intolerable, but I have to ask, after being said and done, how do you feel? Do you feel numb? I know I do, and to that I must say, instead of this is not normal, with numbness in my heart, is this normal?
Hello, Dad? Hey, Dad. Sorry I missed your call. I was busy cleaning up in my room. Shocking, I know. A lot of papers here, school papers, rapids of paper spilling out all over the place. Probably from an old backpack that I dumped out to put clothes in or some such. Stuff I would take on a trip, you know. I placed the papers around middle school. papers and folders and such, but yeah, mostly papers, worksheets, maps I've forgotten, essays I don't remember writing. It's Akuma. Found a sketch of Akuma among the papers. He's from the Street Fighter games. You know that like arcade controller, the big one that's in the living room? It's one of the games I use to play with. You play with that. Akuma. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with this dude. Like this whole demon martial artist shtick, you know, seeking a worthy opponent, ultimate power. Kind of stuff a teenage nerd kid likes, you know. Colored his gi purple. I think his gi's actually gray in the games. Otherwise, it's pretty good. I can see the lines I used to get his eyes just right next to his nose and mouth next to the eyes, all that. Got his arms and legs right. Probably used a ruler. Maybe a book or something. Get the lines straight. Must have been sketching a lot all the time back then. I'm out of practice now. What if I could still draw like this? I wouldn't choose Akuma though. Probably Oro. He's like a turtle hermit guy. Cody. Cody's very different in the new game. Dishes prison digs, ditches the handcuffs. He's the mayor of Metro City now. It's like a city in the game. He dropped his Aaron Carter bowl cut for a slicked back pompadour. Smiles more. Yeah. Cody got a glow up. Kuma didn't. Kuma stayed pretty much the same, but hairier. I ain't about it. Maybe I'll try drawing Cody later. Fuck Akuma. There's got more paper on the floor. I should get back to cleaning. Yeah. Nice talking to you. Tell Mom I said bye. Hey, Dad.
Hi everyone, I'm Jonathan Burke, star of Broadway's Choir Boy and The Inheritance. I have the distinct pleasure of being this year's guest artist in residence at Stockton University, working with Professor Moss and his students throughout the semester. My work with students entailed diving deep into the topics students care about, such as the effects of the global pandemic on their lives, questioning what it means to be a global citizen, and digesting the effects of systemic racism in this country and abroad. I think their work truly taps into the American zeitgeist. Theater requires that we examine our customs, traditions, and mores, and the effects we as people have on one another. I think the students have done a fantastic job touching on this, with both a critical eye and humor. I'm so very proud of the work these students have done with myself and their other guest mentors, and I hope you're feeling that pride at home too. Our next student up is Malikah Stafford, whose creative piece serves as a strong example of the deep dive each student has done this semester. Please enjoy the rest of the show.
If you can only feel tall while someone else is on their knees, something is wrong with you. Let me rephrase. If you can only feel glorified while someone else is dehumanized, something is wrong with you. Let me rephrase again. If you can only feel alive
while someone else shrivels up and dies? Something is wrong with you. Brown-skinned, ebony-covered knees, forced to curse ground for centuries, a cursed ground of oppression, made of hot coals and piercing gravel. Supple, brown-skinned, ebony knees, kneeling through centuries of yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, of going through the back door and walking in sullied gutters, of answering to boy as a man, of being told no and you cannot, of working 4 times as hard to be as good, to end up not being enough, enough, enough. Brown-skinned, ebony knees, kneeling for centuries, scarred, strained, black with decay, sticking to their newfound prayer mat as they pray for the day to stand. On your knees, 1944. Reese was coming from church. She was on the wrong road at the wrong time, with the wrong skin, south of the Mason-Dixon line, a black blemish in a white world that a gang of 6 white boys sought to erase. She was forced to her back, to her stomach, to her knees. No charges were made. The final spit in her face. Nobody cared. The whore was black. On your knees. 2005. Lavina wanted to be just like her daddy. She joined the army, suited up in her camouflage threaded armor, uniformed in supposed solidarity. She wanted to fight for her country. Yet she was the black sheep in the white flock, a black blemish in a white world that her male comrades sought to erase. She was forced to her back, to her stomach, to her knees. Her dead body possessed the scars of torture, yet no charges were made. The final spit of bile on her name, cause of death, suicide. I'm sorry to inform you that your daughter did this to herself. Let me rephrase. Nobody cared. The whore was black. Brown-skinned, ebony knees, forced to curse the ground for centuries. You see, I've been trying to stand, but my shackles dig its rusted ridges into my skin. They won't let me. On your knees, boy. 1955. Emmett was visiting from Chicago, a black teenage boy in the throes of puberty, just trying to see his family, in the crown jewel of the Confederacy, Mississippi, where brown skin teeming with melanin was probable cause for suspicion, where brown skin teeming with melanin was a presumed weapon, where brown skin teeming with melanin was the evidence of the absence of innocence. The word of a white woman who cried wolf, who cried black beast, led 2 white men to kill the beast who sought to feast on a white woman's glorified white sanctity. Let me rephrase. Led 2 white wolves to drag an innocent black boy on his knees into the darkness of night as they mangled his body, ripped into his flesh, snatched the beats from his still growing chest, threw him in the river like he was nothing but the carcass of a pest. The final spit in his face. The men were both acquitted. His life didn't matter. He was just another nigger. Brown-skinned, ebony knees, forced to curse the ground for centuries. 2009. Oscar was at the train station at Fruitvale. With his hands up, he was forced to his knees, then to his stomach. He pled for his life, his young daughter, in his mind, but he possessed skin of the wrong kind. He was shot, living while black, in the back, while the officers checked his shackles, his handcuffs. They were still intact. On your knees. 1999. Amadou was in front of his house. His brown skin teeming with melanin was probable cause for suspicion. His brown skin teeming with melanin was a presumed weapon. He was shot, standing while black, 41 times to be exact. 2016. Alton was selling CDs. His brown skin teeming with melanin was probable cause for suspicion. His brown skin teeming with melanin was a presumed weapon. He was shot, selling while black. 2015. Sandra was driving while black, pulled over, detained, and booked for a failed lane signal. Her brown skin teeming with melanin was probable cause for suspicion. Her brown skin teeming with melanin was a presumed weapon. She was found lynched in her cell, a truth that they will never tell. Tamir, shot dead playing while black. Brianna, shot dead sleeping while black. Ahmad, shot dead jogging while black. Philando, Freddie, Eric, Trayvon. Since when did living while black become my death sentence? Since when did I have to count down to my execution? Brown-skinned, ebony-covered knees, forced to curse the ground for centuries. On your knees. I said on your knees. On your knees. I can't get up. I'm trapped on my knees, strangled by the piercing smoke of the burning flesh of the ever-flowing bloodshed. It's getting hard to breathe, the once supple skin now scarred, cracked with dried blood. My knees are going numb. I'm becoming numb. Brown-skinned ebony knees, forced to cursed ground for centuries. Cousins, brothers, fathers, mothers, swing in the trees that sway in the breeze to the melody of "Oh Say, Can You See?" Calloused hands trapped in rusted chains are placed at the base of whipped backs to keep us from fighting back. Balled fists writhe under the rusted shackles of discrimination, targeted systematic denigration to ignite a proliferation of separation and destruction. The smoke of the burning flesh fills the lungs, choking, gasping as we begin to wheeze, begging to God, uttering George's last words, "Please, I can't breathe." Brown-skinned, ebony-covered knees, forced to cursed ground for centuries. I hope that one day I'll be free.
What are you without racism? Are you any good? Are you still strong? You still smart? You still like yourself? I mean, these are the questions. It's part of it is, yes, the victim, how terrible it has been for black people.
Your life esteem and definition.
If you can only be tall because somebody's on their knees, then you have a serious problem. And my feeling is white people have a very, very serious problem. And they should start thinking about what they can do about it.
Out of sight, out of mind. That was the way in my world for the longest time. The words you use, crippled, retard, freak, we understand more than you may think. I may be blind, but I can see the way you roll your eyes. Yes, I am deaf, but I can hear the hurtful words under your breath. You think because I'm slow, there is nowhere in this world I will be able to go? I may learn different, but I am far from incoherent. I may not be able to speak, but that does not stop what my mind thinks. So I cannot walk. All that I can do will leave you in shock. No more being cast aside. All the hate, it ends today. We do not want to be cured. We want to be heard. Do not lock us up and throw away the key. We want to live in this world and be free. Do not tell us we do not belong. Give us the tools, and we can be strong. Our differences do not make us weak. Our powers lie beneath the surface. Look closely to seek. I will not be told what I can and cannot do. There is nothing to anyone that I need to prove. I will see the world, hear all the sounds, solve any problem that comes my way, shout at the top of my lungs, run a marathon, do anything I please. Do not diss my abilities, but maybe it is your thoughts that need to be disabled.
For me, life in the quarantine has been somewhat normal. I wake up, I go to the nest, as I call my spot on the couch in the den where I'd study on weekends and lounge on weekdays, and then I sit there until it's bedtime. Obviously there are some small breaks, but anyone in my house would attest to the fact that I probably spend 90% of my life there. My father lives in a very different life right now, and worry barely begins to describe it. God, I have so much respect for what he does, even if I don't respect the things he tells me to do. He carries the weight of the whole pandemic on his shoulders. He was the one who put his foot down and made us stay home. He made himself and my mother shower every day in our basement and leave their clothes in the basement contamination area before padding upstairs in a towel. He even went as far as barring us from using the communal bathroom downstairs, restricting everyone to only use the toilet in their room. But he does it all out of love and worry. He's not hugged me for about a month, and it's usually the first thing he does when he gets home from work every day. I am healthy and young, and I am at such low risk, but this man worries so much. And he won't sit back and just make our house safe either. He wants to save the world. The first week of lockdown, he sat silently at dinner as the cogs and gears of his brain turned. This man personally made a plan to maneuver patients in hospital settings to provide care for COVID patients. He then emailed at least half a dozen contacts who have clout in the medical government to tell them how he believes they could help avert this crisis. And when I asked him if he would be on the news, he said, "I hope I'm not." He did this because he worries and he cares. And he still goes to work most days, saving more lives. And he still takes his online business school course that he takes for no other reason than that he wants to more effectively run the practice he's already in charge of. And he still helped me proofread my summer program applications. And he still participates in family games and movies. And he still cut me up a pear and delivered it to the nest where I sit and play Animal Crossing.
It's a really old city, stuck between the dead and the living. So I thought to myself, sitting on a graveyard shelf, as the echo of heartbeats from the ground below my feet fill the cemetery in the center of Queens. I started running a maze of the names and the dates, some older than others, the skyscrapers, little tombstone brothers, with Manhattan behind her, 3 million stunning reminders, built a cemetery in the center of Queens. You said, remember that life is not meant to be wasted. We can always be chasing the sun. So fill up your lungs and just run, but always be chasing the sun. So how do you do it? With just words and just music. Capture the feeling that my earth is somebody's ceiling. Can I deliver in sound the weight of the ground of a cemetery in the center of Queens? There's a history through her, sent to us as a gift for the future, to show us the proof. More than that, it's to dare us to move and to open our eyes and to learn from the sky, from a cemetery in the center of Queens. You said, remember that life is not meant to be wasted. We can always be chasing the sun. So fill up your lungs and just run, but always be chasing the sun. All we can do is try. And live like we're still alive. It's a really old city, stuck between the dead and the living. So I thought to myself, sitting on a graveyard shelf, and the gift of my heartbeat sounds like a symphony played by a cemetery in the center of Queens.
Thank you all for attending tonight's performance of the Stockton Theater Company Cabaret.
If you were moved by tonight's performance, please help us spread the word. It's the same Zoom link every night, and there's a different lineup of students every night. So please come back and bring a friend. And join us for a Q&A before the show on Saturday at 6:30 p.m. for our 3rd annual Experience Theater Day.
And follow us on social media for more details, where you can find links to donate to the organizations and take action towards the causes that our students have spoken so eloquently about tonight. You can also find those links here in the chat box while we roll the credits, or on social media at Stockton Theater.
There you can also find information on our upcoming spring shows, future guest artists, and our end-of-year New York City Industry Weekend. On behalf of the students, faculty, President Kesselman, and our Broadway guest artists, we thank you for attending. Good night, everybody.